Are you looking to do a podcast? Well, you may not know about it, but there's a service called Anchor.fm, created by Spotify, of all companies. They've basically figured out or created a way that anybody can get into podcasting with no cost, and they've made it really easy to do. All right, so first and foremost, before I get too much into Anchor, let me show you your alternatives right now. Let's say you want to create a podcast, you record your first episode. One of the biggest things you got to worry about is where to host your podcast. What's going to store the files and deliver that to the listeners? Some people might try to self-host their podcast. Unfortunately, you'll learn the hard way rather quickly that unless you're spending a lot of money per month, self-hosting isn't really feasible. You just don't have the bandwidth, especially if you start to get popular. So what most people do is they go to third-party services. One of them being Libsyn. Now, Libsyn, you can see here, it costs quite a bit of money. 50 megabytes a month is nothing. That's not enough. So what most people will opt for is maybe the $250 or $400 a month, or 400 megabytes a month. That's $20 a month. Okay. Now your next option outside of Libsyn is SoundCloud. SoundCloud is actually really nice. I know a few people who host on SoundCloud, and it works well. But it's still going to cost you $12 a month if you pay a year in advance, or $16 a month if you get billed monthly. Well, what Spotify did is they created Anchor.fm. That's ANCHOR.fm. Now, what this basically is totally free hosting for your podcast. It has a nice site, easy to use, really simple. What they're basically banking on is they're working on creating, or have created, but it's still building, an advertising system, probably akin to YouTube-ish, for podcasts. So basically, they want to be the middleman for monetization of podcasts. And this is funny because I actually thought of this idea about a year ago, and lo and behold, Anchor makes it. But it is what it is. So I created a simple little account at Anchor.fm, and I put a little temporary picture, a description, yada, yada, yada. And then what I can do from this site, well, first let's view the public site. So not only can you RSS your podcast into iTunes and all the major podcasting browsing platforms like Google Podcasts, but they also give you this little front end site. So if someone just wants to go direct to it, listen to it through a browser, maybe they're at a friend's house and they want to listen, they can just go to this little front end site. This is fixitfixitfixit, and they can listen to the episodes. In addition to that, they can also send messages if you turn this on. Maybe you might want to have a community feedback thing where someone could send you a recorded message. Well, I can't send one to myself, but they can click this button and send you a recorded message like, "Hi, my name is Tom. Here's my issue. Can you help me with that?" And then you can give a reply. So some nice features. Also, there's an RSS link, which I believe I have to turn that option on, which is not currently turned on, to show my RSS link right here. But let me show you how it works. First, you can record your episode in any audio program you want and upload it directly to the site, or you can actually use their web-based recorder. So if you're somewhere where you don't have a recording software, you just load up the website, click new episode, click record, ask me if it could use the microphone, allow, set my input, and now we're recording an episode for the podcast. So it's really simple to do. I really do like their site. I like where they're going with it, and I hope they continue it and improve it. So let's say I'm done with this episode. Now what I can do is let it process. Shouldn't take that long. Okay, well, I think I can still work with it for now. So then what I can do is I can take this, which is a podcast intro. I don't remember making this, but I guess I did. and I can separately record a podcast intro, drag it in, take my podcast episode, drag it in. I can even add a sponsor segment to the beginning, which you can pre-record, or when you get big enough, they'll probably have like ones that just work. And from there, I can save this episode. Look at that. Sponsor segment, podcast intro, episode. Save episode. Second test episode. This is my second test. Publish now. Season number, episode art, content clean or explicit. Everything's fine. It's clean. Publish now. And category. No, I don't want to distribute my podcast. It's another thing. They will do partial distribution to iTunes and so on. Okay, so there's the episode. It's already done. Now what I can do is I can go to the public site. Oh, there it is. Don't ask me why. All right. Welcome to the podcast. This is a test. And yeah, let's see how it goes. That's my intro. And now we're recording an episode for the podcast. So it's really simple to do. I really do like their site. I like where they're going with it, and I hope they continue it and improve it. So there you go. Really simple to do. I can have preset intros, sponsor segments, and it works great. And it's free. If you've ever wanted to do a podcast or give it a shot, now's the time. It doesn't cost you anything. That's almost always one of the factors that prevent people from doing things. The cost. There's no cost. You should get in on this. Now, next, money. Check this out. So you have to activate your payment system, put in your payment information, and then you can record sponsor things right here. Like this Anchor, you can actually, their first sponsorship they give you is to advertise Anchor. So you'll say, hey, Anchor's a great platform, it's cheap, or it's free, and you can potentially make money on it. That's the first one they give you, and that one will get inserted wherever you put the sponsor segments. Next, we also have activate listener support. This is much like Twitch, where people subscribe to on Twitch, or even YouTube now, where someone can subscribe for $5 to $10 a month, and you'll get a good portion of that money. That's active listener supported. So if you go that route, Spotify still makes their money, and you make money without ads. That's just straight up listeners saying, hey, I like your stuff. I want to support you. Here's some money. But yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out Anchor, you really should. It's a pretty nice platform. It's pretty easy to set up and work with. It really doesn't take much at all to get started. All right, so what else? Let me see. Distribution. So here's my RSS feed, standard RSS feed that works in any podcasting platform like Podcast Connect for Android or iTunes. You feed this right in to any podcasting platform, this RSS link, and the podcast will just work. There's no complicated programming, nothing you have to worry about. What else? Now here's the manual distribution stuff. You can try to let them do it, but it doesn't always work. Alternatively, you can manually create the distributions. Your iTunes podcast. This is the link to your iTunes page, Google Podcast page, Spotify, and all these other podcasting things. You put them here and they'll be shared on your public-facing page. Display personal email address if you want to, and a refresh URL in case you don't want to use their RSS link for the other platforms. It's complicated, but not too much to worry about. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video talking about Anchor because I've really been giving it, toying with it and helping someone else set up a podcast on it. And it really does work pretty nice. It hasn't given me any problems, and it hasn't costed us anything. So if you've been thinking about making a podcast, what's stopping you now? You give it a shot. Give it a try. You might get somewhere with it. All right, guys. I'm Fixit. This is just something semi-recent that many people may not know about, but it is really cool and it's free. All right, guys. Have a good one.